What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Sidequest Draft League battle. Today we are watching the playoff matchup between Artisan Kane and Mario. As you can see, Mario has the Clefairy, Indeedee, Gyarados, Incineroar, Dracovish, and Stonejourner. And Kane is packing that Durant, Togekiss, Arcanine, Tyranitar, Rotom Wash, and Whimsicott. So as you can see, both teams have very powerful squads. Both are very good players, so hopefully we should have a competitive match today. I'm hoping to see something good out of both of these guys. I know both of these guys can bring the heat as well, so hopefully we see something good out of both of them. See what they opt to lead off with here. Kane goes for the Tyranitar and the Togekiss, which is obviously a very nice pairing there because the Togekiss can keep that Tyranitar relatively safe, and Indeedee and Gyarados comes out for Mario. So pretty interesting lead matchup. Both of the Pokemon here, Gyarados and Tyranitar, would pressure each other offensively. However, you do have to remember that there is that Follow Me from the Togekiss. There's potential for that, and you also have the Indeedee on the field there, who is going to be putting out some damage if it opts to use something like a psychic move. I do have these sets covered up, so I don't know what either player is going for. Trying to make this as natural as possible. I would give the edge here probably to Kane, just because he has that Togekiss out there and the Tyranitar is slower than the Gyarados. So he has the potential to get a weakness policy boost off. We have seen this thing run weakness policy before, so could be interesting to see if he chooses to do that again. Are seeing a Dynamax come out here, so that is very, very interesting. This is the Tyranitar going up. So obviously this thing is trying to take a hit, trying to most likely get a weakness policy going. We will see, however. Follow Me comes out. So if there was a water attack clicked, it's not going into the Tyranitar. Okay, Taunt comes out. So we've seen that on Gyarados as well. Hyper Voice picks up a little bit of chip damage, but the Tyranitar is relatively unscathed, and it's going to be able to take out that Indeedee there. So now this puts Mario in a situation where he's -1 SPDF on his Gyarados. There's a Togekiss and a Tyranitar that both, because of that SPDF drop, both heavily threaten this Pokemon now. So we'll have to see what Mario opts to go out into here. Yeah, but things are looking good for Kane right now to start off game one. Mario opts to bring in that Dracovish. Now, do not know the item on this Dracovish, so I could have looked, but I didn't. Don't have that part of the screen covered up, but either way, it should be able to outspeed the Tyranitar, depending on the EVs on the Tyranitar and the nature. I believe Max Nature Jolly does outspeed non-Scarf Dracovish. So we can see there. See what Mario opts to go for here. Obviously that sand is still on the field. Not that it really matters, because these are some physical attackers out for Mario. But that chip damage can be consequential sometimes. We do see Mario going for the Dynamax here, so we'll assume that he's opting to get up that rain. Now the combination of this Gyarados and the Dracovish, being able to boost the speed for the Dracovish, being able to set up the rain for the Dracovish, makes it so powerful. And oh my god, that I'm not sure. It might depend on the investment that Kane has on that Tyranitar. That might be banded. That might be banded Dracovish, and it would make sense for it to be banded with the Max Airstream available for the Gyarados. See, Max Geyser coming out here, does a big chunk to that Togekiss. The Dazzling Gleam also did do a large amount to the Dracovish, which is good for Kane, but he is in a tough position here with these very powerful Pokemon out on the field. So we'll see how Kane opts to respond to this. because this could go very badly very quickly with these two Pokemon out here. Okay, so he opts to bring out the Arcanine, which obviously, you know, in the rain against two water types is not the best matchup. However, that Intimidate could come in handy for the Gyarados. If this is a banded Dracovish, which I assume that was a banded Dracovish, because of the damage it dealt to Tyranitar there, then I don't think the Intimidate will really matter. We will see, however. We will see. Still has the option to use a Follow Me here. Could have Wild Charge on the Arcanine. Opts to go for Protect instead. Vicious Wren comes into the Togekiss. That's going to blow that thing away. I don't think that critical hit mattered one bit. That is a double power Vicious Wren. Max Geyser is going to go into that Pasho Berry Arcanine. And that will likely still do a good chunk. You know, rain boosted. Actually doesn't do anything at all. Yes, it is intimidated through Protect, right? So we'll see what Kane has here in the back now. Okay, so he is packing that, I would say, signature Durant. You know, it's kind of his mon right now, the Durant. So we'll see. We will see what this Durant can do. Though things are not looking good with these two very strong water types. Rock Slide comes out. Oh, but it misses onto the Gyarados. That's unfortunate. It wouldn't have killed, but the damage could end up being important in this match. We will see how this plays out here. Goes for the Snarl. Won't do a lot. Special attack drop. Max Flare. Oh, okay. Okay. Does a lot to the Durant, even with the special attack drop and the rain up. Okay, Mario, I see you with the Flamethrower Gyarados. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Do like that a lot. And now he's got the Incineroar out here in the sun. Gets the Intimidate off. And things are looking really, really tough for Kane. Still does have the Durant available, but no Dynamax to his name. Might need a crit Rock Slide here because of that Intimidate. We'll see what happens. I think from the looks of it, this should most likely be game one going over to Mario's side. Could also get those flinches with the Rock Slide. So like I said, anything can still happen at this point. We will see. Rock Slide does come out, connects on both. Does a very good amount of damage. Snarl comes out. It'll need the flinches here with Rock Slide. Waterfall comes out into the Arcanine. Doesn't do a lot after the Intimidate and the Sun. Flare blitzes into the Durant. So that's that Durant gone, which means no more Rock Slide, which means this is likely going to go over to Mario. Though Arcanine is a very bulky Pokemon, and I wouldn't... If he has the proper coverage to deal with these two Pokemon, he might be able to do something. There is also still flinch potential with Mario's Gyarados. We'll have to see. He's just clicking Snarl at this point. Doesn't pick up the KO on the Gyarados, which is unfortunate. The Waterfall comes out again. We take that thing a little bit under half. Drain Punch comes out, and then yeah, the Drain Punch will likely indicate that the game is about over. So that will be game one, going over to Mario's side once these last moves are clicked. Very well played from Mario. He's got a very overpowering team. Hard to deal with that threat of the Dracovish being boosted up by the Gyarados. and those two strong physical attackers just going crazy in the rain. Very hard team to deal with. I would like to see how Kayn wants to deal with that in this game. Maybe we see the Rotom Wash come out. Depending on what moves he has on it, maybe the Whimsicott could come out. I do think he has a number of things that he could potentially use here to bring back another game into the series. But that is game 1 going over to Mario's side, so well played to Mario. We're going to go ahead and we're going to see what game 2 has got in store for us. He's got that Mustard 2 bop going, you already know. We'll see what he's got here. So for me, I would be expecting to see that Rotom Wash come out. I think it has a good matchup against the Gyarados. The Dracovish is still overpowering for it. But I would expect to see a Rotom Wash. The Tyranitar dropping to that Fishious Rend, the unboosted Fishious Rend, is pretty scary for Kayn. So I think he's going to have to try and bring a Water Resist for this match. So as we are getting into game here, we're going to take a look at what both of these guys opt to lead off with. Go ahead and see what their matchups will be. So Whimsicott and Rotom both come out, which is very nice to see. I think that is a good adjustment. And you see the Stonjourner and the Dracovish. So now this is interesting because Stonjourner is an interesting Pokemon. Very poor special defense. Great attack, defense, and HP. Solid speed tier. And it has that interesting ability Power Spot. So this Dracovish's Fishious Rends are going to be boosted by another 1.3. So it will be, I assume, Choice Band, so times 1.5, now times 1.3, as well as, you know, doubling if it's moving first and whatnot. So this is a very scary Dracovish that is out here. Whimsicott goes for Charm, so that is definitely interesting. He's going to lower that Dracovish's attack. Still going to come in and do a lot to this Rotom. Does about half. Hydro Pump comes out. That should be able to do a lot to the Stonjourner. We'll see if this has a Focus Sash on it. Does have the Focus Sash. Makes sense with the poor special defense of the Stonjourner. Heavy Slam is going to come out. That goes into the Whimsicott. Doesn't pick up the KO, however. Wow, so that Whimsicott eats that up. We'll see what the Stonjourner opts to go for here. Very interesting Pokemon. Not a Pokemon that you see a lot, but you can see that the damage that it's doing after the Charm onto the Dracovish, you know, with that band, with that Power Spot, still doing about half to that Rotom, which is very nice. Moonblast comes out, so I assume into the Dracovish. Ooh, that does a lot. That does a big chunk. Big chunk to the Dracovish. Fishious Rend is going to come out onto the Rotom. That does a lot as well. Going to pop the berry. I'll assume that's a citrus berry on Rotom, so that's one of its most popular items. Yep, citrus berry. Thunder Waves onto the Dracovish, which is certainly interesting, as he could have gotten away with a KO on it. He might lose his Rotom and his Whimsicott for that. Rotom takes it, but Whimsicott does drop. So he could have gone for the knockout there on Stonjourner, which I think might have been the play, because then he can KO the Dracovish next turn with the Whimsicott, and he still has his Rotom to click Thunder Wave on whatever else. But out comes the Durant, the signature Durant. Now this Pokemon is a massive threat. We could see a Max Knuckle coming out from this. If it does opt to go for a Max Knuckle, this thing will be incredibly powerful. Even like able to break through a lot of resist with the sheer strength of Life Orb and Hustle and that +1 attack. So we'll see what he opts to go for here. Does go for the Dynamax. Like I said, I'm assuming he'll go for a Max Knuckle here. you know, 2 low health Pokemon basically guarantees you a KO and a boost, right? So I think that's the plan for Kane with his signature Durant. Max Steel Spike comes out, so he prioritizes the defense boost. Okay. Gets the defense boost onto the Rotom as well, but that Rotom is so low HP it might not matter that much. And Rotom Thunderbolts into the Stone Journer. So, okay, so now Mario is down to his last 2 Pokemon. You know, Kane still has 1 in the back. We'll see what Mario brings in here. Okay, so it will be the Incineroar, as well as the Gyarados. So, now this is a good position for Mario, because provided this Durant doesn't have, like, Max Lightning, it should be able, the Gyarados, sorry, should be able to live an attack from the Durant. So we'll see here what ends up happening. We know that Gyarados is packing Flamethrower, so could see a Max Flare come out here. Does obviously have the Incineroar out there. Could also depend here on the speed tier of his Rotom, because we saw in last game the Gyarados was slower than the Dracovish, and we also saw in the last game in this game, sorry, the Rotom is slower than the Dracovish. So what speed tier are these 2 Pokemon hitting at? You know, is Rotom going to be able to outspeed the Gyarados and get off a Thunderbolt onto it? Because if it can, that could end up mattering quite a lot. So we'll see what happens here. I would expect something like a Max Lightning or a Max Rockfall coming from the Durant here. Do see a Dynamax from Mario. I'm assuming that's going to be the Gyarados. It is the Gyarados. Like I said, we did see it has the Max Flare tacked onto it. So should be able to get a big chunk of damage onto this Durant. Should just be able to KO it, provided it survives this. Okay, so he actually goes after the Incineroar. So let's see. We'll see here if this Rotom outspeeds the Gyarados. Could be nice. Does have the Figgy Berry, I believe, on the Incineroar. Yes, Figgy Berry. Thunderbolt. Oh, but he's got the Wakan Berry there. So that's not going to do as much as you wanted it. I do think there the play would have been to double target into the Gyarados. And then hope that whatever your last is beats Incineroar. Though I don't know what he brought in the back. Let's see here. Drain Punch comes out. Did the Durant live that? Wait. It's okay, so the Durant actually lived that Max Flare, which is pretty crazy. It should show you how much of a weak special attacker Gyarados is, because it's a 4 times effective move. And Durant is very poor in terms of its special attack. So Arcanine comes out. Will get the Intimidate across. See what ends up happening this turn. To me, you gotta do something about the Gyarados. I guess both Pokemon are threats here. To me, I think the play would have been last turn to double target into the Gyarados. No matter what, though, this Durant will be going down this turn because of Life Orb. Incineroar opts to go for Protect here. So Max Rockfall's coming out. We'll see what that goes into. But he goes into the Incineroar. See, I think the play is you gotta go into that Gyarados. So Durant ends up dropping to the Life Orb. And now it is just the Arcanine there. It does go for the Will-O-Wisp. Now, again, it's this Arcanine would have a chance at winning this game if it had things like Wild Charge and close combat, but all we've seen so far is like Snarl and Will-O-Wisp, so would like to see what else this Arcanine is packing, because with the proper coverage it definitely has a shot at this game. However, at this point, with the Gyarados about to set up the rain here, even though that Arcanine has the Pasho Berry, it looks like this will be game 2 going over to Mario and Mario advancing. So he goes for the Heat Wave. So he's that fully special Arcanine. And it will eat this for sure because of that burn and the Pasho Berry. But it's just not going to have enough damage to be able to overpower the two of these Pokemon from what I can see. So it looks like the game here will be ending out with Drain Punch and Waterfall spam. So that is very good. We're going to see Mario move on. Shout out to Kane for playing this season. He had a great season, had a lot of, he had a point in the season where he had been just on fire. He won 7 or 8 games in a row, and Mario has worked hard to come up from that. I believe he was the 6th seed, so he's putting on a show here, getting up to the next round. That's very good for him. Unfortunate to see Kane go out this early, but these two are good friends, so I'm sure it's nothing that anybody's going to be salty about. I'm sure they can just laugh and talk smack to each other about it. I think that will be the game wrapping up here, though. Like I said, the Arcanine doesn't seem to have the coverage to be able to deal with both of these Pokemon, and it will just be dropping to another waterfall. So yeah, that has been the second round of the Sidequest Draft League playoffs, or I guess the first round. This would have been the double elimination. So gonna see Mario moving on to the next round. I'm not quite sure who he'll be playing. I know I myself will be playing up against Marcus very soon, so that game should be very good. Once again, shout out to both of these battlers here, Mario and Kane. Big ups to them. Congratulations, Mario, on winning. Congratulations, Kane, on having a great season.